My family held a cousin's reunion at a lake house I paid for. I covered the entire weekend, $6, $200 total. On the last day, I found a note taped to the fridge, "You're rich. We're not. Consider this a redistribution." All the alcohol, groceries, and even my designer duffel were gone. I checked the Ring camera. 3 of them had come back after checkout and cleared the place out. I pressed charges. Now they're begging me to think of Grandma. I am. And she would have called the cops faster than I did. I'm 39. I live alone with my dog Reggie in a modest house outside Asheville, North Carolina. I'm not a millionaire, but I do better than most in my family. I work in IT security for a private company. I live below my means. I'm careful. And honestly, I like my life quiet. I like knowing who I can trust. Turns out I didn't know it all. Growing up, we weren't poor, but we weren't well off either. I knew early on that if I wanted anything extra, I had to earn it myself. While my cousins partied, got into fights, moved from job to job, I was grinding, working nights at a pizza place, saving, building something. I figured they'd grow out of it eventually. They didn't. Last fall, I got a message from my cousin Tara. She's 2 years younger than me. We were close as kids, riding bikes, swimming at the community pool, setting off fireworks behind Grandma's house on the 4th of July. I hadn't talked to her much in years, but the message was sweet. She said we should do a cousins-only weekend. Just like old times. No parents, no drama. Just fun. I didn't see the hook yet. I said yeah, sounds good, and figured that'd be it. Then she called a few days later. "You're good at planning stuff, right?" Flattery. I should have known better. Next thing I knew, I was researching lake houses, texting Airbnb owners, getting quotes. Every time I tried to suggest splitting costs, the conversation got awkward. "We don't all have corporate money, dude. You can write it off, can't you? You'll barely even notice it." It wore me down. I told myself, it's one weekend. Don't be a jerk about it. I booked a gorgeous place on a private lake about an hour away. 6 bedrooms, huge kitchen, a dock with kayaks, a bonfire pit. It cost me about $4,000 for the weekend. Then groceries, drinks, extra firewood, supplies for s'mores. Another $2,200. Total damage? $6,200 out of my pocket. And not one cousin offered a dime. I didn't complain. I wanted to have a good time. Maybe even fix some old bonds. Friday afternoon, I showed up early to check in, make sure everything was good. By 5 p.m., people started rolling in. Tara, of course. Then Joel and Mason, 2 cousins I hadn't seen in years. Then a few others, Caleb, Dana, Miranda. In total, about 14 of us. Everyone brought sleeping bags and snacks, but nobody else brought real food. They just assumed I'd stocked the place. Which I had. Steaks, burgers, ribs, veggies for grilling, breakfast stuff, coffee, beer, whiskey, mixers, you name it. The first night was great. We grilled out, played stupid drinking games, sat by the fire telling stories. Someone made a joke about me being Mr. Monopoly, and everyone laughed too hard. I let it go. I didn't want to kill the vibe. By Saturday, I started feeling it. People were trashing the place. Beer bottles left floating in the lake. Cigarette butts smashed into the wood deck. Someone broke a porch chair and just laughed about it. I spent half the day cleaning up after everyone while they got day drunk. And the jokes kept coming. Ask Moneybags if we need more beer. Mr. Rich Guy's got it. Don't worry, he can Venmo the tab. It didn't feel like family anymore. It felt like being the bank they could all rob without a gun. Sunday morning came too soon. People packed up fast, barely cleaning up after themselves. Some gave me quick hugs. Some didn't even say goodbye. I was just starting to relax, thinking the worst was over, when I saw it, the note, taped right across the fridge, bold black letters. "You're rich. We're not. Consider this a redistribution." I remember just staring at it, not moving, not breathing. It didn't make sense. Until I opened the fridge and found it completely empty. Until I checked the cabinets and saw all the snacks gone. Until I walked to the back bedroom and noticed my duffel bag missing. Not just the groceries. Not just the alcohol. They took my personal stuff too. I panicked. Checked my backup work laptop, it was gone. The portable speaker? Gone. Even the designer sunglasses I left on the counter? Gone. They cleaned me out. At first, I was gaslighting myself. Maybe someone packed my bag by mistake? Maybe they thought the speaker belonged to the rental? But deep down I knew. I had installed a Ring doorbell cam on the side door for safety. Pulled it up on my phone. There it was. 4:27 a.m. Sunday morning. Tara, Joel, Mason, coming back after checkout, laughing, arms loaded with bags, boxes, bottles. Mason looked dead into the camera once. Smiled. Flipped it off. I saw red. I didn't hesitate. First, I called the owner of the rental. Told him what happened. He was surprisingly understanding. Said he'd seen worse. Told me to document everything for insurance. Next, I packed up my car, drove straight home, sat down at my kitchen table, and filed a police report. Burglary, theft, trespassing. I attached screenshots from the Ring cam, made a full list of missing items and estimated damages around $3,800. The cops took it seriously right away. Within 48 hours, a detective called me. Said it was an open-and-shut case. They even pulled surveillance footage from a local pawn shop, caught Joel and Mason selling my Bluetooth speaker and laptop the next day. The fallout hit fast. Within a week, Tara, Joel, and Mason were arrested. Their mugshots were online by that afternoon. Phones started blowing up. Aunt Diane, Uncle Rick, Cousin Dana, Cousin Caleb, all of them screaming at me through text. How could you do this to your own blood? You're really gonna send them to jail over a few groceries? Family means forgiveness. They weren't texting when they were robbing me. Funny how that works. The best one was Aunt Diane leaving a voicemail saying, "Think about Grandma. She's probably rolling in her grave. Trust me, Diane. If Grandma were alive, she would have called the sheriff before I did." Grandma didn't believe in second chances for thieves. She believed in calling things what they were. After the arrests, I thought it would die down. But I was wrong. That's when the smear campaign started. First, Tara's mom posted a long rant on Facebook about me. She called me greedy, said I forgot where I came from, and ruined the family forever over a few steaks and some whiskey. She made it sound like I had pressed charges over a bag of chips. Within a few hours, the post had over 100 comments. People I hadn't spoken to in years, old family friends, even distant cousins from other states, were piling on. Saying things like, "Money changes people. Hope you enjoy your lonely life. No amount of money replaces family." Some even messaged me directly. A cousin I barely knew sent me, "You think you're better than us? Hope you rot." I'll be honest. It got to me. For a few days, I didn't leave my house. Not because I was scared. Because I felt something worse. Humiliation. They didn't just rob me. They made it seem like I was the villain. Then came the letters. Real mailed letters. 3 envelopes showed up at my door one afternoon. No return address. Inside were printed photos of us as kids, me, Tara, Joel, Mason, all of us playing at Grandma's house. Someone had written across the photos in red Sharpie, "You forgot who you are." Another said, "You'll die alone." At first, I thought it was a joke. Then I realized they were serious. They thought I broke the family. Not the people who stole from me. Not the ones who came back in the middle of the night like thieves. Me. I took the letters to the detective. He shook his head, said, "Cut them off. Every one of them. They're not your family anymore." He was right. I blocked every number, every email, every social media connection tied to them. I changed my locks at home, upgraded my security system, took a few days off work to breathe. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was disgusted. But then it got worse. About a month later, my employer's HR department called me in. Somebody had sent an anonymous email to my boss accusing me of embezzlement and drug use. It was full of lies. Of course, HR had to investigate, standard procedure. I sat through 3 meetings explaining that the accusations were bogus. Luckily, I had my record clean as a whistle. But it still hurt. It still left a stain. Some of my coworkers started acting weird around me. Some never really treated me the same after. Even after I was cleared. That's when I knew. This wasn't just about the stolen weekend anymore. They wanted to wreck me. They wanted to destroy what I had built because they couldn't stand that I built it without them. And that's when I decided to take it even further. I hired a lawyer, filed a civil lawsuit against Tara, Joel, and Mason for damages, emotional distress, loss of property, reputational harm. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about making it clear, you don't mess with me, not without paying the price. When I filed the civil lawsuit, I knew it would get ugly, but I didn't realize just how far they'd go. 2 weeks after the papers were served, I got a knock at my door late one night. It wasn't the police. It wasn't a friend. It was Mason. He was drunk, reeking of cheap beer, swaying on my front porch like he could barely stand. I didn't open the door. Just spoke through the Ring intercom. "You need to leave." He slurred back, "Come on, man, just drop it. We're family, right? You're being a little bitch about it." Nobody meant anything by it. I didn't answer. He kicked my porch railing and stumbled back to his truck. I saved the footage and sent it straight to the police and my lawyer. The next morning, Mason got slapped with a restraining order. Tara, meanwhile, tried a different angle. She sent me a letter through her lawyer offering a settlement. Basically, she wanted me to drop the civil lawsuit if they apologized and paid me $500. $500. After they stole almost $4,000 worth of stuff, slandered me online, sent threats, tried to get me fired? I didn't even respond. My lawyer sent back 2 words, "See you in court." That's when I found out the best part. While digging for evidence, my lawyer found that Tara, Joel, and Mason had priors. Small stuff mostly, underage drinking, unpaid traffic tickets, some minor vandalism from years ago. But Mason? Mason had something else hidden. A sealed record for a bar fight that got violent. Bad enough that when the police opened the investigation on the theft, the DA decided to revoke Mason's probation from the old case. Meaning, Mason wasn't just facing my lawsuit. He was facing real prison time. When that news broke, the rest of the family lost their minds. Another wave of Facebook posts, this time nastier. People calling me a traitor, a snitch. The reason families fall apart. My cousin Dana even posted a full-on conspiracy theory claiming I had set them up from the beginning to make myself look good. One night, someone egged my house. Another night, someone threw a brick through my mailbox. Police couldn't prove who it was, but I knew. My own blood had declared war on me. And through all of it, not one real apology. Not one genuine ounce of remorse. Just lies, threats, blame. Meanwhile, Joel tried to sidestep the lawsuit by filing for bankruptcy. Thought it would get him out of paying damages if I won. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Because bankruptcy doesn't erase civil judgments related to theft and willful misconduct. He was trapped. Just like Tara. Just like Mason. They were all trapped. And the court dates were getting closer. The part that stung the most? There were a few cousins I had been close to once, Caleb, Miranda, people I thought had common sense. They didn't speak up for me. They didn't defend me. Silence is loud. I realized I didn't lose just a few cousins. I lost the whole damn side of the family. But it wasn't over yet. Not even close. Because in court, I wasn't just planning to win. I was planning to bury them. The court date came fast. It was late spring by then. Hot. Humid. I remember sitting outside the courthouse, sweating through my shirt, wondering for half a second if I was making a mistake. Maybe I should have dropped it. Maybe I should have just let it go and moved on. Then I remembered the letter they left on the fridge. The Sharpie words burned into my memory. "You're rich. We're not. Consider this a redistribution." No, this wasn't about money anymore. It was about respect. The hearing was brutal. Their lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive and holding a grudge over family squabbles. He called it a misunderstanding and said, "Young people make mistakes." I was ready for that. I had the Ring camera footage. I had the pawn shop receipts. I had the screenshots of the Facebook harassment, the text messages, even the photos they mailed me with threats scribbled across them. It wasn't a family fight. It was a targeted theft. A slow, deliberate effort to take everything they could. And when I fought back, they tried to ruin me. When the judge asked me to speak, I kept it simple. I said, "They didn't just take my stuff. They didn't just steal a few groceries. They broke the one thing family is supposed to have, trust." And when I stood up for myself, they tried to destroy me for it. The courtroom was silent. You could hear people shifting in their seats. Joel kept shaking his head like he couldn't believe it was happening. Tara just stared at her hands, refusing to look at anyone. Mason looked like he wanted to fight the whole damn room. In the end, the judge ruled in my favor. He ordered them each to pay damages. Joel, $6,000, Tara, $5,000, Mason, $7,500 plus court fees. All 3 of them now had civil judgments tied to their names. It would haunt their credit for years. It would show up on every background check. Jobs, apartments, car loans, all harder now. And because Mason's criminal record got reopened, he got hit even harder, 18 months in state prison. Not county jail. State prison. The look on his face when the sentence dropped? He looked at me across the courtroom like he was going to explode. But there was nothing he could do. They had chosen their road the second they came back to that lake house. I thought it was over. It wasn't. I made the mistake of going out for a drink that night. Just one. Celebrating, I guess. Maybe showing off a little. I posted a photo on Instagram, me at a bar with a drink, captioned, "Cheers to cutting out the trash." Petty? Yeah. Real petty. Word got around fast. Some mutual friends saw it. The family trolls used it against me. Said I always planned to ruin them, that I was laughing at their misery. Maybe I was. A little. I can admit that now. Winning felt good. Watching them lose felt better. But it didn't make me happy the way I thought it would. It didn't fix what was broken. It didn't bring back the family I thought I had. Mason went to prison. Tara ended up moving back in with her parents, broke and embarrassed. Joel lost his job after the lawsuit hit his background check. Last I heard, he was working night shifts at a gas station 2 towns over. Aunt Diane cut me out of the family tree completely. So did most of the others. I didn't go to the next few Christmases or weddings. I didn't send cards. I didn't even get invited anymore. You want to know the real kicker? A few months later, I found out the old lake house owner, the one who rented us the property. He saw the news articles about the arrests and posted my story anonymously on a rental owner Facebook group. Now Tara, Joel, and Mason can't even book Airbnb rentals anymore. They're blacklisted. Forever. And me? I'm fine. Lonelier than before, yeah. But free. Free of fake family. Free of leeches. Free of pretending. Sometimes I miss how things used to be. But then I remember they chose to steal. They chose to lie. They chose to burn the bridge. All I did was make sure the fire they started finished the job.